Flow is one of the most engaging movies I've seen in a while, and that's impressive because it's an animated film with zero dialogue. It's kind of a cheat code to have cute animals be the star of your film, because if you show me any animal that looks scared and lost, then I'm gonna be ready to do anything for them. But this movie tugs at your heartstrings and reels you in from the start, and I'm not complaining about it. Because Flow is a beautiful film about friendship and learning to work together. All of our characters have their worlds literally washed away by a flood, and then one by one find each other on this boat that is just floating around the land they used to know. There are moments of tension and heartbreak, but there's also companionship and a feeling of togetherness lifting you throughout the film. The main character is a timid cat who is afraid of everything and has to learn how to embrace and trust the other animals around him. Then there's a lemur who is also very scared and paranoid of everyone, but slowly opens himself up to sharing his trinkets as the film goes on. Then you have a capybara who is honestly the most chill guy I've ever seen. Like, his planet gets hit with a biblical flood and all this man wants to do is eat bananas and sleep in the sun, so I really respect this character. My only issue with the movie is the anti-dog propaganda, but that's okay, because you know what? The main dog character is exactly why they're the best creatures on Earth. The retriever is the only animal in this movie who is excited about the entire journey. Like, he's just been waiting to make new friends and is legit hyped every time one of the other animals gives him attention. But this good boy also has to learn personal space and boundaries. He gets a little overexcited, and there's a moment with the other dogs that genuinely hit my feelings. So there's obviously a bunch of different characters. There's a bird and a giant whale that shows up throughout and gives us some of the most cinematic moments of the film. And that's the other thing I love about Flow and other animated movies we've seen in recent years. It picks a unique art style and fully embraces it. And look, I'm not hating on any of these other movies, but I feel like so many of the big animations that get released in theaters look so samey. Like, the style across those films looks copy and pasted, and that's a little disappointing because the strength of animation is that you're able to do so much more with it. Take the Spider-Verse movies, for example. I'm not the first or the last person who's gonna glaze the animation of these films, but I think it's undeniable that the wacky and striking mix of styles elevates that franchise to an entirely different level. Like, sure, any regular Spider-Man animation would have already been cool, but the creators pushed Spider-Verse to all-time great status with their visual style. And while Flow isn't nearly as ambitious with its animation, it's still unique and gorgeous to look at. Someone on Letterboxd said this looks like a 90s video game at times, and I can definitely see that. Everything has this glow to it, and it's so pleasing to look at, and the way the sun reflects off of the waves and even just the world around it is so awesome. And again, since there's no dialogue in this movie, you rely entirely on the animation to tell your story. Showing whether the characters are happy, scared, or lonely without having them speak to each other is a challenge, and Flow accomplishes all of this without any issues. And while there are aspects of this movie that you'll never get an answer to without an exposition dump, you kinda don't really need to know everything with a film like this. It's okay to have an ambiguous story that's open to interpretation. I mean, just go look at Reddit or YouTube and you'll hear a dozen different explanations for the meaning of this movie. There doesn't seem to be a consensus on what happens by the end, and the director has been vague about the true meaning of this film as well. He basically just said that this story is a reflection of his own experiences working with the creative team to come together and create something, and from there you can apply your own experiences onto the story for yourself. And I think that's cool. This movie is just an open world that you can see whatever you want from it. And even if it's as straightforward as a flood that brings these random animals together, that's still a fine story to me. Flow is another entry into what has been a great few years for animation on the big screen. I'm not super tapped into all of the animated releases, but the Spider-Verse movies are some of my all-time favorites. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was awesome to catch in theaters, and I've heard great things about The Wild Robot, and it's been on my list. So I know there are some people who have a bias against animated films, but I hope you feel encouraged enough to check out at least one of those movies, or another one if there's something I didn't mention that really interests you. And that's all I have for this video. If you've seen Flow or you're loving this recent wave of animated films, then let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, then please drop a like and hit that follow button. I'm trying to push out as much movie content as I can, and all of the support that you can offer really means a lot to me in the early stages of this channel. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.